from Jonah, Part 8. In Jonah chapter 3, verses 1 to 5, it says, Then the word of the Lord came to Jonah a second time. Go to the great city of Nineveh and proclaim to it the message I give you. Jonah obeyed the word of the Lord and went to Nineveh. Now Nineveh was a very large city. It took 3 days to go through it. Jonah began by going a day's journey into the city, proclaiming, 40 more days and Nineveh will be overthrown. The Ninevites believed God. A fast was proclaimed, and all of them, from the greatest to the least, put on sackcloth. So Jonah was told a second time. He obeyed God, and he went and warned the Ninevites. The Ninevites actually believed Jonah. Everyone fasted, and then they wore sackcloth. And sackcloth was a symbol of mourning. In verse 6, it says, When Jonah's warning reached the king of Nineveh, he rose from his throne, took off his royal robes, covered himself with sackcloth, and sat down in the dust. I want to point out that the king humbled himself. He got off of his throne. He took off his royal robes because it was not important for him to show his status at this point. He covered himself with sackcloth and he sat in the dust. He actually humbled himself before God. No matter what title we carry, we should never be so high and mighty to not honor God. Verses 7 to 9 says, This is the proclamation he issued in Nineveh. By the decree of the king and his nobles, do not let people or animals, herds or flocks taste anything. Do not let them eat or drink, but let people and animals be covered with sackcloth. Let everyone call urgently on God. Let them give up their evil ways and violence. Who knows? God may yet relent and with compassion turn from his fierce anger so that we will not perish. So all were involved in the fast, people, animals, herds, and flocks. In addition to fasting, the king told them to urgently call on God. And I want to point out that there is a big difference between a casual phone call and you blowing up someone's phone. He also said to give up their evil ways and to give up their violence. I want to make a point also that this was a time where many of us, I know I have, would use this opportunity to try to make excuses for the way that we have behaved or the way that we have lived our lives. And the king did not do this. This was not a time where he even tried to make excuses for what he was allowing the people to do and what he himself was also doing. The king was hopeful. He said that he was hoping that God's love would actually outweigh his anger. The lesson in this story is the domino effect of a heart posture. We see in the very beginning of this segment that Jonah's heart posture was that he was obedient to God and he did what God told him to do. That in line shows us the king's heart posture. He was humble and hopeful. We should all have the right heart posture toward God, being obedient, humble, and hopeful. My encouraging scripture is coming from Matthew chapter 11, verse 28. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest.